Beekeeping vlog. Connect to learn more. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe channel.
This is how I render wax out of what is here. Some old brood frames and a pile of what are supers which have actually been underneath the brood box for the winter, and I've just removed them, but the wax is likely to have pollen and brood debris in, so no longer any use for supers and honey. So what I have is just a wallpaper stripper, a steamer, and then from that you'll see a pipe which leads to this box, which is just knocked together, 4 pieces of wood for the sides and a floor, the hose going at the bottom, and the dimensions a bit bigger than a brood box. And out of the front there is the hole which the wax will come out of into a cleanish bucket. And the other important thing we have is a waste bucket, because there'll be lots of debris. So at the moment I just have this set up and the steamer switched on, so once it's up and running we'll do some more. So this now is the brood box, or the wax melting box, full of super frames, and if I pull one out, yeah, this is pretty typical of the kind of dirt and stuff in the super frame. In my opinion, no use for honey anymore, but having spent the winter under the brood box, we'll now melt it out and render the wax down. So just waiting for the steamer to come up to the boil. So while we're waiting for the steamer to come up to steam, we can clean the supers. So here's the one. We just empty the frames out, and then what we need to do is just go around and clean all the wax and dead bees and the brace comb from inside, from around the edges, both top and bottom. So we'll just turn it over because there's still a good lot of mess underneath there. And the way I do it is just by putting it on top of the green bin and scraping the stuff down into the green bin, because it's all natural and will decompose. Okay, so while the steamer's coming up to steam, I'm just keeping occupied doing that. So the steamer's now coming up to steam. You can see that from the steam which is coming out of here. Now what I do is, at this point, after the steam's come up, I have the front of the box lifted up so it's not level. The reason being, so that until the combs really start to melt wax, I want the wax and the condensed steam to run to the back. And now I'm about to, having done that for about 10 minutes, I'm now about to remove the wedge from the front, so the box is facing down and whatever liquid inside will start running into the bucket. So now the wax is melted out of this first super, and what we will do is we'll lift the lid and then start taking the super frames out. So I've taken the first set of frames out, and as I did so, I used my hive tool to just scrape off the top bars and the bottom bars, and this is what they look like now. So you can see that they're quite clean, and this goes for all of them. When they're ready for what will be the next stage, will be subject of a different time, will be boiling them in a Berkel boiler with some kitchen soda solution to really get them clean and hopefully free of any diseases or bacteria or pests. So now I thought I'd show you the end result. The things have been tidied away. The box, which was a steamer box, is just there draining and drying out. So these are all the frames which have been boiled and not boiled, cleaned out of the wax, and they're ready for boiling. And this is the end result terms of here I have a pot which is the wax, and also elements of water, condensed steam, and any honey residue that was in there, so that's all gone there. And this is a kind of rubbish that has come out, old combs, bits of pollen on the brood comb, some element of dead larvae. But that's the kind of rubbish that you will see, and it's better out of the hive than in. Right, and now I'll show you what happens to this bucket and how I deal with it. So I have here a warming cabinet, and the temperature is set for 70 degrees with the wax melting point is about 65, and in there are two of the buckets which contain the debris and the wax and stuff from the steaming. And what will happen, I will melt those and then I will filter it. So that's the warming cabinet, and they are in the process. So you saw the warming cabinet, and what happens is once that wax is completely melted, I then bring it out and I just pour it through a filter, which is a sieve, stainless steel cheap sieve, into this bucket. Normally put a little bit of rainwater in the bottom. That gets rid of even more debris, and then I leave it to set. And of course the wax floats on the water, the debris sinks to the bottom, and once that's all done I end up with a blocks of wax, something like this. So here we have now is the end result of all that wax extraction, and it is 3 blocks, quite clean, ready for use, a bit more filtering or exchange, and there is 16 pounds of wax there out of 13 supers, so a pound and a couple of ounces out of each super, so a good result.